I take it I'm not finished. I hate Shadowlands. I called not liking Shadowlands back when they first fucking announced it. I hate it. I don't even want to play Shadowlands. Like, it's. I'll do my rant. I'll do my rant, um I want to make a record for myself. I called Shadowlands being shit way before it released. I called it um I call Shadowlands being shit um uh back when they announced it at BlizzCon. When they showed off what it was, I was like, okay, this looks cool. But then when we got the gameplay and then the Covenant locking, all the stuff that came out of it, I'm like, this looks horrible. And then when the dungeons came out, these don't look fun. Then the raid that was supposedly going to be it didn't look fun. You know, keep playing. I don't even know. Hey, nice. Welcome to the channel, man. I'm ranting about Shadowlands for a minute. And then the raid when the raid was announced, it didn't look fun. Nothing about Shadowlands for World of Warcraft looked fun to me. But I said, and I still remain firm on what I said. Was that if you're a lore driven person, you're gonna like Shadowlands because they brought back a lot of people that people liked. So if you like the lore, you may like hey, I appreciate that follow, man. Thank you. I need to update my follow thing, but I don't know anybody who can make custom follows. So, uh, so there's that. Anyways, uh, so like I lost a train of thought. Where was I? Where was I? Oh, Shadowlands. So it's if you like the lore, you're gonna like Shadowlands itself. Uh, Now, from the folks who are lore junkies in our guild, they don't really like the lore right now. They think it's kind of garbage, you know. So, so it's you know I, there's that. But anyways, so if you like the end game, the end game is terrible in my opinion. I hate the end game. It took me six what was it? Actually, let me it's better if I just pull up my Raider IO and look up when I got AOTC for this tier. Now, I'm not a trash player, you know. I'm not trash, but I'm not the best damn player out there. But I know I'm above average, you know. But I don't know how high above average I am. I just know that much, right? I got my AOTC pugging on the 10th raid week. That is obscenely too long. And the majority of the reason is it's too hard. The stuff was too hard for the eye level they were asking for. If you were around for Old Deer when BFA came out, I said the same thing during Old Deer. Old Deer itself is too hard for the eye level that Blizzard asked for. They did not tune it for the eye level that they want you to complete it for. They tune it for you to have an eye level above what it's asking for. You know? So I don't like that. And that's how they designed Castle Nathria. Now, we've killed all 10 bosses before, right? If the raid difficulty between boss to boss to boss is so whack, it's so out of whack. This raid tier is obscene. You know, it's crazy, mind-boggling of how one boss is like the first boss is a face roll. Second boss is a face roll if you know what you're doing. Third boss it's even more a face roll than the first boss. Then the fourth boss, it's actually the first. That's the actual first difficulty step of the raid. All right, say you're an above average group. No, fourth boss is still a joke to you. This is heroic, okay? Then you get to the fifth boss. So your fifth boss is either Artificer or Kael'thas, or that guy. So which one's easier? It depends on your raid. If you have fab healers and you do it just right, Kael'thas is tremendously easier if you have a shaman with a bunch of druids or a mistweaver with the right legendary and a bunch of druids. And that boss is just so much easier than the first boss. But if you don't have either of those, it's extremely hard because the healers run out of mana. Wow, who would have thought let's make a fight where you gotta have one or you gotta have one or two classes to make it so ridiculously easy, and if you don't have them, it's ridiculously hard because that's how much you have to heal the daggone dude. All right, so then we go to Artificer. Artificer is a freaking joke. He's a joke on normal and heroic. It's just watching your feet and moving bombs. That's it. That's a joke. So we're still not at the actual raid. Then you get to the seventh boss. Oh, now we're at the actual raid with the court or the council. Those three right there. Those three are legitimately a those three are legitimately that is the first actual difficulty step of the raid. That's it. When you get to them, hard block for almost all guilds, almost all pugs will either succeed and beat that boss or be hard stuck on it for weeks, or maybe not even beat it at all if they're really bad. That's so on the seventh boss is when the raid actually gets difficult, and it's only difficult if your DPS sucks. There's nothing mechanically difficult about anything in Castle Nathria. The only mechanically difficult thing in Castle Nathria is Lady Enerva, if you don't know the timings or just thinking about it consciously. If you're thinking about the timers, then it's a joke. It's easy. So ignore me. But if you're not thinking about the timers, then yeah, that's a hard boss. So I'm thinking about the timers because I'm the one that usually tells people what to do, but I'm the raid leader. So we're gonna just rule that one out. So the actual first difficulty, mechanically difficult boss, first mechanically difficult boss is Stone Legion. Those two, the second before the last boss, that's where the raid actually gets mechanically challenging. That's where it actually starts feeling like a raid and not just a drawn out dungeon boss. You know, that's where the problem is. So we get to that, and then when you get to Sire on normal, he's a joke, but he's a hard DPS check. Not really a heals check, but he's a hard DPS check. But when you get to heroic, the difference between normal and heroic Sire is night and day because it's a super hard DPS check and it's a heals check massively. Just ridiculous of the night and day difference between normal and heroic Sire. So only two bosses out of the raid itself are mechanically challenging, in my opinion, and the other eight are just jokes. This is the worst rate tier I have experienced in my time of playing WoW. Now, I've only been playing WoW for 3 expansions. I've only seriously played it for 2.5 expansions. Because I seriously started trying to be a better player during Tumor Sargeras. That's when I started stepping up my game. And when I started rate leading in a whole lot more and looking at what I should be doing. So I've only been seriously playing for 2.5 expansions, and this is the worst raid in my opinion. I love the music though. Don't get me wrong. I love the music, especially when you're on the council or the three bosses to set the seventh boss. That boss right there. Ooh, the music right there is such like it's da 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 ba ba da ba da da ba da ba da da ba da ba da ba da ba da ba da I love the music. Just that right there. Oh, I wish they did more of that stuff throughout the whole game. The music is so good in Castle Nathria, but that specific boss is perfecto. But the rest of the race sucks. That's the raid. Now I don't really like raiding that much anymore. I just do it because I'm already doing it. I've already built something around it, so I ain't gonna stop what I'm doing, right? So it is what it is. I'm here. I'm doing it, right? So I don't really like raiding unless it's a 30 raider raid. That stuff is fun. I love 30 raider raids, but if it's not like a 30 raider raid or 25 man, I, uh, uh, you know, it's this. I don't like it. Like I went. That's what really got me excited about raid leading is when we had capped out um people who showed up every raid week. That was so much fun. People talked to one another. We were serious when we got onto the stucks, onto the hard stuff, but then we weren't serious when we were having fun mid pool. That stuff was the hard things, man. That made the hard. That was the cool stuff. That stuff made me fall in love with raiding then back when we had consistent 30 raider raids. And we had 30 raider raids for what was like a year and a half, a year. It was like before I started the guild. We had 30 raiders every day, and we maintained 30 raiders until like 4 a.m. Nowadays, it's hard to even get 12 people to show up. It's hard to even get 15 people to show up. Hell, it's hard to get our tanks or our healers to show up or our top DPS to show up. It's so hard to even get people to want to play the game because the game itself just isn't fun. The difference between what WoW was 4 years ago and what it is now. And I know that sounds like, oh, I mean, it's just two expansions, man. How can you say that? But it is that big of a thing. Legion was a really good expansion. I feel bad for anybody who missed it because I think I came in at a great time for WoW because I saw it. I wasn't gonna miss it. Legion was fun. BFA not so fun. Castle Nathria is, I mean, Shadowlands is really not fun. Really not fun at all. Back when I finished my character on week 2 or 3, and this was, and I'm gonna come back to this point way later. Back when I finished my character on week 2 or 3 of Legion and BFA, I went to pugging. I went and helped other people finish raids and do Mythic Plus. I was always pugging. That's how my associate list got so filled. That's how I had so many contacts. When we got stuck on something, I had about maybe 15 people at one time I could call upon for a favor. That's how strong my connections were back then. My connections now are is like maybe 2 people now. Enser, and Terran. Now, of course, there's like 4 others I can call upon, but I don't play with them very much. But these 2 tell me I can reach out to these 4 people whenever I want. But I don't play with them very much, so I don't want to bother them because I feel that that's wrong of me. Hey, how like it's like I don't like it happening to me, so I don't want to do it to someone else. So this is what I mean. So say me and you Impact, we're together, we're running, we've been running, we're running together, and then you introduce me to one of your friends, and we run with your friend, and your friend is good, so I like them, they like me because I'm pretty decent, and we do like 1 or 2 keys a week, and that's it, and I don't hear from you again, we don't hear from each other for like 2 3 weeks at a time. Only time we hear from each other is when you bring the 2 of us together and we do something. That's it. I don't like being treated like that. I don't want to be poked or reached out to like that. I don't use my contacts like that. If we're cool with one another, I help you out, you help me out. It's just a mutual thing that just happens. We just do it. But you tell me, that, hey, you can, if I'm not around, feel free to reach out to this to the friend you introduced me to. You two can help each other out. Because he said that he really likes you, and you say you really like him, so feel free to reach out to him. Man, that's weird, man. That's really weird. I don't want to reach out to somebody who I barely interact with just because I need them for something. That feels like I'm using someone. And I don't like being used, and I hate using other people, so I don't reach out to them. So, yes, I have technically 8 people total that I can reach out to for favors when we're doing guild things. I just don't, because I don't like being used, and I refuse to use other people like that. Friends are another thing, because they're friends. We do that to each other. But people, when I'm not friends with you, it's just a mutual beneficial relationship where you're a good player, I'm a good player, and we're friends with this one person here. The friend that we share in common brings us together. We run stuff. That's where it stops at, because we haven't expanded past that, right? So I don't like using people like that, and I don't want to do that to people. So it's rating it sucks. I have yet to experience the fun part of rating, that got me into liking rating so much back in Legion. And like I said, I think it's mainly because I don't have 30 rated raids anymore. But it's whatever. It's okay. I have to move past that. I don't show it. I don't show this at all. It's only people only hear this if they ask me about it in private. Because I'm never gonna tell the guild this. I'll never tell the guild this, straight up in front of them. I'm pretty sure most of them know it, and most of them have probably told other guildies that I don't really like raiding, but I won't reveal it. I just won't. So let's move past the rating, because I've talked about that enough. I don't like the rating in Shadowlands. So what about Mythic Plus? Mythic Plus fucking sucks. I hate Mythic Plus. Like, I hate Mythic Plus. Like, I'll give you a great example. What's the new affix is called? So Mythic in Shadowlands, they added 2 new affixes: inspiring, and where's the other one? It's spiteful. Inspire now. Uh, let's look at this. Inspiring. Inspiring is the same shit that people hated during the Eternal Palace season 3 of BFA. So why did people hate inspiring? And why and to an extent it's just like it's somewhat season 1 as well of Old Deer, but just not as bad. So why do people hate the season 3 of the Eternal Palace? Because you had multiple fucking ads that were spread out across the map. Some that were unique to this season. Some had they gave a buff to the enemies around them, where you can't interrupt them. They're just immune to CC. There's some that had true sight. There's some that what was the other one? There was 2 others. What was it? I can't remember the other two. I can't remember the other two. But the main part that people hated about season 3 was the one that made the mobs immune to CC. Everyone hated that. I hated that. So why in the hell did Blizzard bring the worst affix, the worst thing from season 3 as a permanent affix into the game? How is that fun? How can they sit there and think, hey, let's create a affix that makes all mobs around them immune to CC? So they have to kill this one specific ad first, or CC it, and then pull the stuff out, and then kill the stuff, then kill the inspiring, or pull all of it with it and deal with some major fucking damage, and have this intense stress every 3 minutes that you go through this shit every 3 fucking minutes for a whole 40-minute run. Let's make this a permanent affix. That makes no sense at all. None. How can you, who sat there in the developer meeting and thought this was a good idea? That's not fun. Hell, when you pull all of it together because all your cooldowns are, that is so fucking stressful because if the tank dies, it's over. It's not like Legion where the dungeons were relatively short and you had ample enough time. In Legion, in Legion, except Darkheart Thicket and Maw of Souls, except those two dungeons. But we got 14 dungeons in Legion. So 12 of the dungeons, well technically, well no, because that doesn't serve my point. I'll come back to that one. So technically 11 and a half of the dungeons you can wipe multiple times. Multiple times. Not even have your cooldowns up for when you get back to it. You can wipe multiple times and you still have a chance at timing the key. In Shadowlands, if it's fortified, if you wipe one fucking time on one of the big pools, it's over. Your key is toast. You're not gonna time it. That's not fun. That is such a high risk for very low reward. That I'll come back to later. That's not fun at all. And you got this fucking bullshit affix inspiring, where like I said, you either pull all of it and deal with this 3 minutes of stress, of big damage, and you just got hope your DPS kills everything, hope everybody uses their health pots at the right time, and hope you don't get cucked on your GCD, and hope you don't have to move too much, and you just and the enemy doesn't crit at the wrong time. You hope your crits hit. Such stressful. Every 3.5 minutes, you do this. Or you CC it, pull it away, kill the stuff, then kill that. And you lose time doing that. You can do that maybe on a few pulls. Unless your DPS is hot, you can probably do that on quite a few pulls. But you lose so much time when you don't kill it all together. So much time. So I don't know how these developers sat there and they thought this was a good idea. Let's do this. Because that's not fun at all. It's goddamn sorry, forgive me, dear Lord, for saying that. But it's not fun. It's extremely stressful. Oh, maybe Mr. Stewart. Um, so there's that. And then the other stupid affix they added was spiteful. Spiteful is not that bad, but you know what makes it suck is when it targets is when a bunch of them spawn, and if you don't have any CCs, you just have to run away. That's not fun, running away from something. That spiteful is such a anti-melee affix, and that's the craziest part about this. How can they have half of the DPS in this game is melee and the other half is range. So how can you create this affix spiteful that's so anti-melee that when it's spiteful weeks, you don't bring any melee at all. You only bring range. That is ridiculous. That's not fun for melee players. It's not fun for me when I have to stop what I'm doing, drop ring of peace, run away, plant myself, and start my GCD rotation again. That's not fun. Nothing they've added for Mythic Plus has been fun. All they've done is made it worse, not fun, or more stressful. That's not cool. That's not fun. I absolutely hate it. So that's Mythic Plus. And I'm not even talking about the dungeons. I can go on all day on Mythic Plus. I hate Mythic Plus right now. And Mythic Plus was my favorite game mode, man. That was my favorite game mode. Over when they released that shit, I was doing Mythic Plus all day. I did that on my priest, I did it on my monk, I did it on my pharaoh. I even did a little bit on my shaman in Legion. I loved Mythic Plus. And in BFA, I didn't like it too much. Season 2 was pretty good. I liked Season 2. Season 2 was fun. But Season 1, 3, and 4 suck. I hate it, man. And then Shadowlands Season 1, Mythic Plus is horrible. So then we go into, so moving past that, now we go into the open world content. Well, we all know me. I hate casual shit. So, uh, so I don't, so I don't like, so I don't like, open world stuff. So that stuff is just irrelevant to me. I hate open world things. As far as I know, most of the guild are casual players, and they do mostly open world things. Do you know how much of a barren wasteland it is right now? Nobody wants to play this shit. Well, that's a really broad overstatement and exaggerating. Most of the guild doesn't want to play this shit. When I wasn't online, even if I logged in, even when we were at this exact same size in BFA, there would still be around 10, 20 people online on the weekend wanting to play BFA and damn sure Legion. It's a damn wasteland, man. There's like maybe two lucky if you see 5 people online and it's not raid night. Nobody wants to play it in the guild. Nobody wants to play Shadowlands in the guild. And I called this when they announced it. Nothing in the expansion looks fun. And the one thing that looked really fun, that looked really fun, which was the covenants, they fucked it over and they did covenant locking. And then they tied player power progression through it. How stupid can that be? That's stupid. It should have just been cosmetic only. Cosmetic only. Or if they wanted to do that covenant lock-in, I should be able to unlock this stuff. It make fine. You want to make it a grind? Fine, make it a grind. But if I swap covenants, I just start at rank 1. And I just regrind it over. Keep it account lock. Keep it account based because I like the account base. That's great. That's a great change to account base covenant stuff. I like that. But not so. Some of the covenant stuff is account based. But what they need to do is they should just unlock the covenant locking, unlock so I can swap to wherever I want. And when I swap, I just have to level all 4. They still get their time mechanic that they base all their gameplay iterations on, and their whatever bullshit unfun metrics that they use to justify why they do certain things. So no, I I sound like a Debbie Downer. I know I do, but I hate Shadowlands. I called it a year and some months before they it released. I called it 6 months before it hit PTR. I called it when it hit PTR. I called it when it hit beta. I called it when it hit pre-launch. And I called it on 9.0 or whatever patch run. I called it on day 1 that this shit was not fun. Shadowlands sucks. And there's and here's the worst thing about it. Here's the worst thing about it. This expansion could have been a Legion Light. This could have been Legion Light. But they fucked it up and messed it over because they don't put player fun first. And that's where Blizzard's problem is. They're too concerned about metrics of how long we spend in activities and not why we spend so much time in certain activities over others. They're spending their development resources wrong. And they're spending that research time wrong. It only takes a few changes to make this a decent expansion. It will never be Legion Light now because the foul taste is in everyone's mouth. They don't want it won't recover. But if they just made a few changes, it would be enough to salvage the expansion at least. And that's the most sad part about uh about um about Shadowlands. There's just a few things they need to change to make it a okay or decent expansion. It could have been Legion Light on launch day, but they missed that opportunity and that ship is sailed. So I hate Shadowlands. I don't want to play it. That's why I'm not logged in, and that's why I barely know it. That's why my contact list for reaching out to people is so much smaller. Because I want to, instead of wanting to play World of Warcraft, I want to spend as little time as possible playing World of Warcraft. And let me just show you this part that to drive home my point. To drive home my point on this, okay? Because this is gonna be funny. This is the funniest part. Do you see this right here? Sire Denathrius. I killed this bitch one time, and I haven't gone back in. After I did it, I was done. I say I'm not going back into that raid. Unless I have to. That's fucking sad. Because if we look at Nyalotha, look how many kills I got on Heroic. 25 N'Zoth kills. 25. And that was working on getting the whole Gilder stuff. The Eternal Palace, 32. BFA, this was such a fun raid. This was such a fun raid. But BFA, 28 on Jaina. Crucible of the Storms, I even did that 16 times. Oh dear, I hated this one. But I still did it 29 times. And we don't even want to look at Legion. How many times I killed this fucker? 60 times. This is just on one character, man. It's not a me thing. Because I will read clear content if it's fun. But I will not forcibly force myself through some bullshit that's not fun. So that's why I've only killed Sire one time, and I have not gone back. I have not helped any pubs. I haven't helped any other guilds. I haven't reached out to anyone else. I only go into this damn raid if I have to. And that's the saddest part to this. That's the saddest part about Shadowlands. This could have been a Legion Light expansion if they changed just a few things. If they changed just a few things, if they just put player first in mind instead of metrics in mind, and they did and they spent their research time on what players actually want and not what the developers want, it would have been so much better. Because I am sick of them trying to tell us how we should play the game their way when they should be making the game meeting us at least halfway or at least 60-40 and putting the game more towards player first. Because so far, I don't know what the hell is going on at Blizzard. They are so reactionary to so many of their changes. It's a damn shame. And I'm sick of it, man. I'm sick of it. I'm tired of the reactionary changes. Fucking just make it player friendly. That's all people want is player friendly stuff. Now I probably ranted about like 20-30 minutes on this. But no, I don't like Shadowlands. I hate it. I try to play as little as less as possible. Do I still do keys? I still do Mythopus? Yeah, I run with Azan. I still run with her. I still run with them. I run a key with them. We set up days. But if we're not set up on to run those days, you bet your ass I'm not playing World of Warcraft. I'm playing my RTS games because I still remain true to my point. Shadowlands has until December 31st to prove itself that it is a fun expansion. Otherwise, I'm gonna start closing doors and being ready to move on to I'm gonna start shutting down my operations in Hidden Eclipse. I'm just gonna be ready to move on because I'm not gonna continue throwing money at this fucking game and it's not fun. Legion was such a good fucking expansion, and the fact that they can't reproduce that fucking good shit, that dopamine, that of what everyone liked or what I really liked, and they just made it worse. I no, I'm not gonna keep throwing money at this fucking company. They can go eat my ass. So yeah, I've been playing a lot more Planet Side. Planet Side is kind of my filler. If I'm not playing Planet Side, I'm playing my real time strategy games. I am working my way back into how I was playing before I played World of Warcraft, and I'm getting back into that groove. Because before I was playing World of Warcraft, all I did was play RTS games and Tetris. That's it. And Dust 5 and 4 before that game got closed down. I didn't play nothing else. I played by myself. So I'm slowly working myself back into being that solo gamer I always was and still kind of am. So yeah, I hate Shadowlands. So sorry for the like 40ish minute rant, but this expansion should have been so much better than what it launched and still in what it is now. It is amazing the potential that was missing this expansion. All right, sorry about that. All right. uh, all right. So even being below average, I was addicted to rating and keys. I loved it. Haven't seen anything I like out of Shadowlands. I agree with you. Yeah, this is something I hear a lot with folks that comment about Shadowlands. I see you aren't a fan at all. Do you see yourself playing Classic? No, I'll never pick up Classic. The reason why, if I didn't like Classic, uh, 15 or something years ago, there's no damn chance in hell I'm gonna like it now. So no, I have zero interest in playing Classic.